What's going on, Alabama fans? This is Brandon, aka Fresh, COO of Touchdown Alabama. I wanted to drop in again and give y'all some thoughts that I had with, there's an article that we put out a few days ago regarding Nick Saban and whether or not he is inching closer to retirement due to some of these new changes, especially with NIL coming into the fray in college athletics. And before I get to that, y'all know what to do. Hit the like button, smash the like button, looking for 750 likes. If you hear my voice, do it now, right now. Get this thing to 750. If you're not a subscriber to our page, do that now. The content is only going to ramp up and you don't want to be left out in the cold waiting because you missed out on not being a subscriber and you did not have your notification bell on. So do that, do it now. Like button, subscribe. Notification bell if you haven't done all that. All right, so let me go ahead and get into the video. So there have been pundits, former players who have maybe thrown around the idea that it's time to be out with the old, in with the new. That the way that the NIL and the changes that NCAA are making as it relates to college athletics is going to be the norm for the foreseeable future. And if you're not with it, then it's just time for you to exit stage left and allow some of these younger or coaches who are with the times to go ahead and lead the new regime, so to speak. So what does that mean for Nick Saban? And what do I think about this as it relates to Nick Saban? Well, first of all, if you have followed Nick Saban for at least just his time with Alabama, he's been head coach since 2007. If you followed that time, especially, really doesn't take him that long to kind of start implementing who he is, and he's basically a master chess player, figuratively. I have no idea if he actually knows how to play chess. He spends so much time on recruiting and coaching. I don't think he has much time to do a whole lot of other extracurricular activities. But in terms of how he uses the mental game to his advantage, how he uses the media as pawns. And if you're a chess player, you know what that term means. He uses them as pawns for a much bigger picture. So he has recently come out and he's made certain statements about, pretty much alluding to the fact that the way that the NIL is structured, buying players, is not something that he's ever really wanted to do or does do, and that this basically the NIL is essentially allowing these bigger schools to buy players. I mean, let's just call it what it is. And his tone didn't necessarily sound like it was, very encouraging in terms of that's what he prefers to do or he likes that. And it gave certain people, and I'll put the tweets here on the screen here in a moment, it gave certain people maybe an outlet to say, well, is this Nick Saban's way of saying that, okay, this may not necessarily be the college football that I want to be a part of. And we also saw a tweet from a former player of his, Marlon Humphrey, who was very vocal on Twitter. If you're not following him, you should probably do so. He's quite entertaining. And he put this tweet out, and just read what this says. I'm gonna let y'all read this. Very, very interesting. Basically saying, if you're not with it, move along. All right, move along. Let somebody else come in and do it. I'm not saying that he was specifically targeting his former coach, but you also have even more outspoken coaches like Dabo Swinney, who he's not shy at all. He has not been shy from the beginning on his disdain for NIL, the transfer portal, all these different changes that have pretty much run amok for college athletics. And until there is some form of regulation for all of the above, it's only going to get harder for those who have that old school mindset of, if you sign, you're staying your 3 to 4 years, you're going to compete, and you're not just going to run. And we're just going to pick and choose every other year what we have to do. And there is some hypocrisy with that, because a lot of athletes and a lot of pundits have stated this for years, that it's not fair that college coaches can sign a contract. They can have one really good year at, let's say they're at a mid-major type school. One really good year, and then all of a sudden they get attracted by these Power 5 programs, and then they just peace out. Just, all right, appreciate y'all letting me be your coach, but I'm out. And then they can go and just coach the next year. Like, it's like nothing changed, you know? Get paid a huge salary and coach their new team with no problem. So the player's like, well, if I wanted to leave for whatever reason, I would have to sit out for a year. Like, how is that fair? So the transfer portal has, pretty much alleviated all that for the most part, where players, they see a better situation, whatever reason, if they don't want to compete, if that's the case, or they feel like the opportunity there is not conducive to what their future plans are, they can go ahead and enter their name in the transfer portal, find a better situation, compete for a spot there, and the rest is history, so to speak. So I don't see an issue with the transfer portal. I do think that maybe there does need to be some sort of regulation, but the NIL is where I feel Nick Saban may have some issues, and this is where he's been using the media, making these statements. He's starting them now, and I guarantee it, like Charles Barkley, I guarantee he is going to use SEC Media Days. He is plotting and he's planning strategically, and I may even be there to witness it myself. I haven't been since 2016 to SEC Media Days. I might even go myself this year just so I can see it in person. But I guarantee that he's going to go to SEC Media Days and he's going to make a profound statement, maybe on all the above, but specifically the NIL, and demand, without actually saying it, because you know how he is, without actually saying it, that something needs to change. There has to be some regulation, because leave it up to him. He is going to find every single loophole to make this the best NIL situation for Alabama. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to do it. And Nick Saban is so competitive. He wants to do everything better than everybody. He wants to dominate the transfer portal and figure out how to maximize that better than anybody. And I think he's done a pretty good job of that. But he's also not going to slow down on the NIL. It's like, hey, if I still plan to coach for another 5-10 years. That's pretty much what Nick Saban is saying. I still plan to coach for at least another 5 to 10 years. I'm going to, do my darndest to make sure that the NIL is going to be at the top. We're going to be at the top of NIL when it comes to that as well. So you see the high tide traditions that they've come up with, just really trying to make sure that it's done pristine and exemplary. And I feel like Nick Saban is always going to be 2 steps ahead of everybody when it comes to any new changes. He probably finds the best people who can dissect verbiage and whatever the terms are, and he's going to find any little loophole he can find to ensure that he is at the top of the top when it comes to whatever changes the NCAA makes. So with that said, do I think that Nick Saban is planning to retire anytime soon due to these changes? Absolutely not. There is no way he's going to allow the NCAA to force him out on anything. What he's going to do is he's going to do exactly what he's done in the past, and he's going to force their hand to say, y'all going to have to make some changes. Y'all going to have to change this transfer portal some kind of way. You're going to have to change this in NIL stuff some kind of way, or I'm going to dominate it to the point where it's going to cause such a fuss and ruckus that the outside is going to make y'all change something, because I'm going to kill this transfer portal, which pretty much check that box off, and I'm going to absolutely murder and annihilate this NIL. So if this is what y'all want, and he said, hey, this is what y'all want, this is what y'all want college football and NCAA athletics to be, okay, all right. And I think there's one person on this planet, especially with college football, who is going to maximize and utilize every inch, every centimeter, every millimeter that he can to figure out something that can give him a competitive advantage. That is Mr. Nick Saban. So no, Alabama fans, I don't think you have to worry 1 second. Don't lose any ounce of sleep that Nick Saban is going to retire due to this. This will be corrected. If it's not going to be by the fall, it will be sometime very soon. And I believe that he is already crafting, or if he has not already crafted, he has already started to craft his speech for SEC Media Days. And that's going to be something that's going to be played all throughout the rest of the month of July, all the way up into kickoff, based on what he said, because he knows he's going to have a national stage with that. He's probably already going to inform ESPN and whoever's going to be there, hey, you might want to make sure you have some top-notch covers there at the SEC Media Days, because I got some stuff to say. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is, but you probably might want to have something. You trust me on this. He is a shrewd operator, a master chess man, and don't be surprised if there's going to be a checkmate situation at the end of SEC Media Days. I don't know this for a fact. I have not spoken to Nick Saban. He and I don't have that type of relationship right now, maybe one day. But don't be surprised if you see a checkmate type situation come SEC Media Days, and that is usually the second week in July. All right, that's all I got for y'all today. Please make sure you have smashed the like button. I'm trusting y'all to do so by the end of this video. 24 hours. Let's see if we can do it in 24 hours. Can we get 750 in 24 hours? That might be a record. I don't know. I have to go back and check the numbers. Let's see if we can get 750. Subscribe if you have not done so already. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Follow us on our other social media platforms. Twitter, TD Alabama Mag. Instagram, TD Alabama Mag. Go to our website, touchdownalabama.com. Click the subscribe button. All right. If you have not gotten a subscription, I'm trying to tell y'all right now, we have plans for at least 2 magazines that are going to come out. And these are print, wonderful, glossy print magazines that you can have for years to come. And you don't want to you don't want to not lock your rate in now, because those prices are, I'm not for certain on this, but I'm pretty confident to say that they're likely going to raise by the time the season starts. So you might want to lock that price in now. Go ahead, get your subscription now before those prices increase. All right, well, that's all I got for y'all today. This is Brandon, aka Fresh, signing off.